So what is it that actually happens when we send a transaction? So we either do something simple, like we decide to send to Betsy, 10 smiley, send it, say yes. What actually happens? Where does this actually go? It went, but how did the wallet do this? And let's think about this a little bit. We send something like this, and we can do it either in a graphical user interface, or we can use send to address and send 20 smiley to Betsy. Our wallet generates a transaction. We have a transaction ID, and this gets put somewhere. In fact, we can look at where it's stored by saying we want to look at the raw memory pool, which is a pool of transactions that have not yet been put into a block. And you'll see here C858. C858 is here stored as a transaction still, but it is being sent to the network. And the way this works then is that the network of all nodes which have these wallets, all of them are listening to different ports, and they communicate with each other. And we can go to any browser, and look up the block explorer for Smiley coin in this case, and the same would be the case with Litecoin or Bitcoin or anything. And these typically can give us an overview of the network. So here's the Smiley coin network. There are 4 different kinds of wallets, and behind each one you can see a list of nodes. So here are 33 nodes, the IP addresses of 33 nodes that this block explorer has seen in the past 24 hours. And here's an overview of the location of these wallets. So they're in Iceland, UK, Spain, and Russia, and US, Canada, and so forth. And here you can see the organizations, which are basically the phone companies or those who provide internet access. And these communicate between each other. They receive these transactions, send these transactions, and some of these are wallets which are mining, so or belong to miners. So and they are then trying to take these transactions and put them into blocks. And as these blocks appear, all of these transactions slowly get mined into blocks. This one has now been put into a block, and we can now see which block it is. It's presumably this one that's generated 2 minutes ago, and it's right here, C858, and here you can see we sent 20 smiley to Betsy, and then we had 1 left over, so that's 21 in the outputs, but there were 22 in the inputs, so 1 went to the miner. Sometimes this network isn't quite what we want, but we can take a look at how many connections we have. So this particular wallet here is connected to 5 different computers or other wallets, and we can use the command get mining info to get peer info to see exactly what we connected to. So then we see all of these other IP addresses. We can use a specific command called addnode. So if we go back to the block explorer and check out this network here, and suppose we want to connect to somebody somewhere else, connect to this guy, we can say add this to our node list. And if we're lucky, we will now have 6 connections, but we didn't get connected to this guy. So let's try someone else. Try this one instead. Add node. This one. Add. And still didn't get that one. And anyway, the point is that we can select any node we like and ask to be connected to it. And we can either do that as a permanent connection or just try it only once. This one worked, and we're now connected to 6 nodes. And this sort of tightens the mesh. It gives us a better connection to the network. So if we know of specific nodes that we would like to connect to, we can use the addnode command like this, or we can connect to it in the SmileyCoin configuration file, where we can add all sorts of different commands, including addnode commands. So if we want to maintain a good connection, then that would be one way to do it, to add several nodes to the SmileyCoin configuration file and make sure that we're well connected to a network, so that whenever we send a transaction, it gets immediately transmitted to several nodes on the whole network.